now. What you streaming? Hey y'all.
Hey everybody.
Welcome to the What You Streamin' podcast. I'm Allie.
This is Katie.
And we are your hosts of this new fantastic little podcast called What You Streamin'. We wanna know what you're watching. And in turn, we're gonna tell you what we're streaming.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be a trip.
It's gonna be a good time. Sometimes. You know what? It'll be an okay time.
We can guarantee at least an okay time.
For some of you.
Hopefully for most of you. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fun with Friends podcast.
Hey.
I'm your host, Allie, and I am joined once again today by Katie.
Hey, y'all. Back.
I hope you're not tired of our voices yet, especially because we are launching a new podcast together. Get used to this.
Oh, yeah. Get ready. Gird your loins. We're coming.
Prepare yourselves. Prepare your ears. We're coming for them.
Them ear holes.
Today's episode is about we're talking about the Nevermore Film Festival, and Katie and I virtually attended the festival, which took place in late February, early March. I think it spanned that first week, the last week of February, the first week of March. That's
2/26 through 3/5.
Yeah.
I have it written down there.
Thank God for Katie's notes. One of us took notes and one of us did not.
While we watched it.
That's
the only reason that's there. Because that was while we were watching it.
You're definitely going to be able to tell. One of us paid attention, the other not so much. But the Nevermore Film Festival is, I think it's typically done in person, and this was its 22nd year running. It was created in 1999, and it's a juried competition that features new full-length and short films. The genres that are included in the festival are horror sci-fi, dark fantasy, animation, and mystery thrillers from around the world, all of which are things that I love. Thankfully, Katie somehow found the festival. We were just cruising the net.
No. The festival itself is put on, I don't know if sponsored is the right word. I don't know how it works out, but it is held and hosted by the Carolina Theatre of Durham here in North Carolina. And so one of the folks that I work with is a Durhamite. And he actually recommended this to me probably the first year I was there. We'd only known each other for maybe a month or two, but he was like, hey, you might like this. I was like, do I appear that weird? Cool. But yeah, so he's recommended it to me. He's made sure that I was aware of it every year that it's come up. And usually, though, it is on the other side of town, completely opposite of my drive home. So it was one of those things where it was like, that's real effort to go to that. So this year, it being virtual, 2020. No, this year, 2021. Yes.
2021.
We're in a year now. Okay.
I don't know where we are right now.
But yeah, he said, oh, don't forget, it's coming up. And it's virtual. And I was like, sweet. Because I can do that.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things that I wrote down. I was like, thank God this was virtual, because if it was something you had to attend in person,
would not have seen hardly anything.
Yeah, gone to maybe one or two.
Wow, that'd have been too much.
The amount of sitting in a theater, not appealing at all.
I think it would have been fun for some of them, just the audience, and people being like, what is this? But yeah, it was nice to be able to sit at home and watch it. Yeah. In between doing some laundry or, saying I need a break from work or something, or taking my lunch to watch a show or two.
Yeah, and we got the all access pass.
I thought it was worth it.
It definitely was. And we came up with a game plan because there were a ton of short films and content. Feature films, probably close, I don't even know, probably over 40 or so.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good estimate. We could have counted just now when we were researching prior to this, and we did not. So, our usual.
Math is hard. Math. Right? You should know by now that we
They had 11 feature films, we know that much.
And we did watch a few of them.
Yeah, we watched about half of those. Yeah. And then they had so many shorts. And you think that shorts, you're like, oh, well, they're shorts, you know, but every kind of
Chunk.
grouping that they put them into was about 90 minutes long. And that's quite a few shorts within those 90 minutes. So your brain, it's not that it's so long you can't handle it. It's just that your brain just gets tired.
Yeah. And you'll,
after a while.
You'll only have like it was like a week or 4 days.
Once you paid for it.
What is this math here?
Oh,
26 to the 5th.
So the dates I have in my little notebook here are the dates that the festival was going on. So you had, once you purchased it, you had a certain amount of days that you could start watching it, and then you had a certain amount of hours that you could finish watching it. So when you bought a thing and started it, you knew you had to watch it within the period of the festival, because they do like audience voting and stuff like that. You had a certain date that you had to watch it by, at least. But then once you started the short program, so as they called it, then you had to finish it within 3 days, which is doable. But when you're watching so much of it, you basically, I think our game plan was one feature film and one short program an evening, and even that got to be a little much. I think there was like one night where I watched stuff and you didn't, and there was one night where you watched stuff and I didn't, just because we had other things we had to do.
I think we skipped a day altogether because
we
it was
just
like,
had to. We had other stuff going on.
Also,
it was a lot.
Like, as someone who watches a lot of TV and films and stuff, it was a lot for me to like, even I was like, this is a lot to sit down and watch and like focus on for like a week straight.
And like I said, I think it's because you had a lot of different stories and lots of different things happening, and your brain was just having to shift gears so much. It was fun. And we watched some great stuff. We watched some terrible stuff. Well, we won't say terrible,
I mean,
but
so terrible it was amazing.
You know, don't regret it.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
But yes, it was quite an experience.
It was.
So it was fun. It was
I think the first film festival I've ever attended.
Yeah.
I've been invited to one when I was almost a screenplay writer on a movie that was never made called Vampire Moon. I was invited to a film festival. I did not go, but
I think I've done like little stuff like around my college campus, and just kind of think, but never with the intent to like try to watch as much as I could.
Yeah.
Usually because it does cost you quite a bit more. So I think when we saw that we could you could buy each film or each short program for a certain amount of money, or you could just pay the all-in-one cost and just watch whatever you wanted. And when you broke down the fact that us two for sure were going to be watching things, and then my husband might pop in and out, and then how many things we were watching, like it broke it down so that we really only had to watch maybe 4 or 5
to get the cost back
things to make it as if we were at the actual virtual event or doing it individually. We watched way more than that. So I felt like, like paying for the full price. It helps them out because it's a great thing, and we get to watch whatever we want.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And they hosted it on
Inventive, something like that.
Which I had never heard of before. And I would say that was probably like one of the downsides to the festival, just figuring out the app, which thankfully I didn't have to deal with. And Katie did all that, because technology is not my friend. No. But it was kind of weird because you had to get into the app on like your phone, select what you wanted to watch, and then like refresh the app on the TV to get it to show up. And it was like a back and forth. It was a little
kinky. Like it didn't. Yeah. It wanted to because we were watching it on Roku, so we can watch it on the big TV. Because obvs, why would we not? This is 2021. Damn it. This has been the year of live streaming concerts and things, so it's not like we haven't had our fair share of things that we really enjoy, like having a terrible virtual streaming experience, because it's all been kind of a learning experience for everyone. So it's not that we went into it and were really upset by the fact that it had some kinks to it. It was just one of those things, like it took me a minute to get it like, okay, this is what we have to do. And until I got it there, like there may have been a few choice words, but it was just, it was one of those things where I was on my phone in the Nevermore, they had like a really great page where you could see everything and vote and do all that kind of stuff online on your phone. But in order to get the app to recognize that you had to go in and like you tell it, oh yeah, I want to purchase that thing, which we had purchased the All Access Pass. So I just had to basically go in and be like, yeah, I did that, and it's cool. And then you have to say, yeah, and I want to download that, and it was like, cool. But I had to download like each one of them individually, even though they were all within a program, in order to get it to actually pop up in the app. And so that was frustrating, because then I was just like, how many are there? Like, and then some of them still didn't want to pop up until like 2 days later, and I was like, what is going on? Like, and then we didn't even know what we were really watching, because it would only show us the first one, and it was just like, what is happening? But once we got it figured out, we were like, oh, okay, we're just gonna, we know that something happens in the magic of the interwebs, and it's gonna show us everything.
You gotta let the magic work. You gotta let it work. But I thought for like their first year doing it virtually, I feel like it went, as a viewer, it went fairly smoothly, and it'll be interesting to see. It honestly would be really nice if they had like a virtual component every year from here on out, because I feel like they would probably get a lot more.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd be willing to do it every year.
Yeah, same.
Purchase the whole package deal. And I don't know that this was the first year. I don't know what they did last year. I would say that
2020.
That with the dates that it had, who knows? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
We did
maybe
not.
they did
we
do
did
it virtually last
research
year
at all.
Do we ever?
Hey,
Listen,
it's for good times over here. Okay?
I did a little bit of research. Okay,
you did. You made a list.
The festival was created in 1999.
You sent me this list,
and I tried to remember what movies we watched, because
you did a pretty good job.
I did not make note of them as we watched them.
Yeah, I only wrote down the ones I really liked, so that was a bit of.
Because I was like, I'll remember.
No.
How could I forget?
That was 2 months ago.
It's all the, that was the other thing I was going to say, was all the names, because they're in different languages.
Oh yeah, some of them were,
I absolutely loved that there were so many films from around the world. I mean, there were
the
Danish
international
films,
component was
Norwegian
pretty
films.
good.
It just made my, like, heart happy to see so many different movies in different languages.
Well, and I also feel like, too, a movie for us as Americans, English speaking first language kind of people, a movie can get away with a whole lot when it's in another language for us, because we're just like, ooh, this is different.
Yep.
And we're just like, what did he say? What's he talking about? What's it going on? We're over here reading subtitles and stuff, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. But yeah, so I feel like for us, international films are just, they have a little bit more of an air of mystery to them.
Love them. And you have to actually watch them.
Yeah, you have to pay attention. You can't be playing on your phone.
It forces me to pay attention. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't remember a lot of these, is because they were probably the English movies and I wasn't paying.
Yeah, we did just realize that you watched the whole American short program and don't remember it.
I remember 3 out of 7 or something.
I do remember that day, though. I came in and talked to you, and you were just kind of like, I guess I've watched like 6 of them already. You were just so like dazed and out of it.
Well, yeah, because
you're like, but there's another one coming on.
I think I did 2 short chunks. I don't know. It was a lot.
Yeah, you did that day. You just sat there and did some stuff.
My brain was just full of like TV static at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, because we did watch we watched like 20 or more, over 20 movies, films, short films, feature-length films. So we are definitely not going to go through all of them, because this podcast episode would be
forever long,
hours long. So we're going to kind of touch on some of
notable
not
necessarily our favorites, but we noted them. We made note of them,
and we might just go quickly. I might say a name and yay or nay it. On others, I'll say a name, and our in-house film critic, Katie, will be reading her review and ratings of said movie.
Because, as we mentioned, there's the audience voting component.
Yes.
And so after each film and
by
short
God,
program,
we voted.
We made sure we voted, because we were like, we just watched that. And sometimes it was like, oh, we just watched that. So we made sure we voted. And there were some that we really wanted to see, and there were some that we were just, if it comes on, cool, whatever.
Yes.
And so as we went through them, I tried to write down things in my daily journal, like, hey, this is what we watched today. Just so we could keep track of what we had seen, because it was just so much. And I was trying to keep them really short and then write down what our vote was going to be, so that we would remember. We really liked that one, but we only gave it a 4, so something's got to be really good to get a 5 kind of thing. So yeah, those will be the ones you guys get to laugh at today.
And I'm excited for you to hear her reviews, and also very thankful that Katie had her shit together enough to actually make note of things that we watched, because again,
a very rare occasion.
I did not. So I think we started with the PG-13 movie group.
Yeah,
that was what we watched, because there was an animated one that I really wanted to see, which was Little Wolf, The Night Trail. And I had seen like a preview for it or something, and it had zombies in it, and like the animation,
big zombie fiend.
Yeah, and the animation looked really like grotesque and
it was pretty gross looking.
So I am a huge fan of zombie films and also animated films. We started in that category.
It's Only a Nightmare, Charlie Brown.
Yes.
It's the PG-13 category.
And it had a mix. It wasn't all animated movies. It was, the ones that were in there were Little Wolf, The Night Trail.
Sandier was in that one.
Sandier, which is one of our faves, so we'll come back to that one. Hoodie, which is, it was only like 3 minutes long or something. It was super short.
Very short.
Fucking wild.
But we were there the whole time. We were with it.
In it. That one's really good. I have to come back and talk about that one a little bit more. What were some of the other ones in there?
Oh, let's see. They got Death Hacks was like a stop motion claymation kind of style, wasn't it? Or was it animated?
It was animated. It reminded me of like a take on a high school like news desk, but they were like dead, like zombie, but like cute. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, they were like yeah.
And then it was like
kid. Yeah, it was
dad jokes.
It was funny,
with
but then it went on too long. And I was like, you could have stopped this at least 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, and you could tell. You could tell like
that one had more money in the budget.
Yeah, and you could also tell that it was maybe originally like short little videos that. It reminded me of like a YouTube video, like little YouTube videos that had been stitched together to make a full length or a longer one. It was funny, but yeah, went on way too long.
Lost me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, wait, sorry.
That one's not
PG-13. They're Here was in PG-13?
Maybe, I don't know. I'd say that was probably one of the top 2 in the PG-13 category. It would be Sandier and They're Here.
That's the 2 that I had written down as my faves. Oh, my faves.
Did you write down reviews for these?
No, I only wrote reviews for the feature films because I think my brain was so overloaded with how many of the short ones were there. But They're Here was like that. As soon as it really got going, I was like, oh yeah, you can tell I liked that one. It was so good.
Well, and it was I will say this now, spoiler alert, because there are spoilers. We're going to be talking about
if we had to work around spoilers, would not be an episode.
But They're Here starts off with a girl playing with her grandma.
It's a really beautiful relationship between a girl and her grandma.
And then she just starts beating the shit and trying to kill, like, out of her grandma.
She has
trying to kill her.
She's trying to kill her grandma, and there's a reason, and that's what we're not going to tell you. But it was it's a damn good reason.
Yeah, and it's the twist and everything.
It was good. It was really good.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it was another one of those where once it started, like I was in it, I was watching it, and I was like, cool.
And then Sandier was a French film, and it was a take on the Sandman.
Yeah, but there's not just one Sandman. There's these little workers, and they have to
with their bag of sand.
Yeah, with their bag of sand. And this one guy's night does not go as he planned, and
he's not great.
Shenanigans ensue. And I just love that it was like this bureaucracy. Like it was this just kind of, it took a fun little story.
They were in the business of sleep.
Yeah, it was neat. I liked it.
Yeah, and it was very
French.
Yeah, it was very French.
Very French.
And I loved it. I was on board from the beginning. He's riding his little bicycle down the street, and yeah, it had almost kind of an old-timey film feel to it.
I think they call that like old world. It's not like new and fresh, but it's like, it's over there, Europe, and it kind of it's a little
gritty. Yeah.
Stop
We're looking at each other and we're like,
sandy. It's a little gritty. It's real sandy, you guys. I hate sand.
oh my God. So that was kind of, and Little Wolf was,
Oh yeah, you guys.
it was okay. It was all right.
It was gruesome.
It was.
I'll give it that. There were guts.
I think I wanted more guts. I don't know. Or more zombies. I'm not quite sure. It was good.
Because it was a short, if it had been a little longer, you'd have gotten more like story. And I think it was really just, it felt like it was this little blip. It was like it pulled out of a much larger thing, but you just didn't get enough.
Like a chapter out of the whole.
Yeah, to even really whet your appetite. Like it was just like, oh, that's gory, okay.
Yeah, maybe that, I think you're probably right. And then the first feature-length film that we watched that I was like super on board for was Abyssal Spider. And I wanted to watch it because it is a Korean film. And
or was it was Taiwanese?
Might have.
Is it from Taiwan? Hang on.
Yeah, let us research.
You continue on with your discussion.
But it is exactly what it sounds like. It's about a spider
from the abyss.
From the abyss.
Yes, Taiwanese horror.
Taiwanese, yes.
We're sorry, Taiwan.
My bad. But super. It looked like
It looked dark and it looked wild.
Creature
and we were
feature.
Like, hell yeah, we're all about it.
Super into that type of like film. And
it was not in English, so we had subtitles.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's turn it over to Critic Katie. What did Critic Katie write about Abyssal Spider?
Okay, so music, lighting, editing, terrible. Don't regret it. 2.5 stars.
So, you hear it here first, folks. 2.5 out of 5 stars.
It was so disjointed. There was stuff going on in there, and it was just like, what is even happening? And we watch a lot of Asian television and movies, and just kind of it runs the whole gambit. And so we're we're used to there being cultural differences that we don't quite pick up on, or editing being just slightly different than what we're used to. But this was on a whole nother level. Like, it was just like somebody went in there and was like, you know what? Just slap it in there together. And so you had the sound and the music and the volumes were all over the place.
So loud.
They were all over the place. And so it was very discombobulating is the word I'm going to use for that.
Which is on theme for the movie.
It's like, they are out in the ocean.
Setting the vibe.
But yeah, and then we were trying to figure out like who was who. Because there's a lot of characters, but they're all on this boat, and they're all running around, and they're all yelling at each other, and we're just like, what the fuck is happening? And then
there's a lady that shows up randomly.
Yeah, and then we're like, oh, is that, okay. And then we're
Does she control the spiders?
Oh, man, it was like, and then at some point I was like, there's no way that boat is that big. Like, I was so
that's because the bottom of the boat, which I don't know much about large boats, so please correct
I know
us.
enough about commercial fishing vessels.
But it's made out of cement.
Yeah, but it was made, you had these cement hallways. I was like, this is not the inside of a boat. Like, it was just one of those things where my brain was like not having it. It was like, no. But we watched it, and
we kicked off the festival.
We did
the feature film part of the festival.
That was our first. And so it wasn't, like I said, don't regret it.
No.
I told my friend at work, because each day we talked about what we had watched and what we were wanting to watch and how we felt about it. But he was like, what did you guys watch? And I was like, we watched that spider one, that sea spider one, and I'm going to say, if you like that kind of thing, cool, you can watch it. But if you don't, probably don't want to watch it.
Might be better things to watch.
Yeah, like you might find something else you like. But yeah, but it was just one of those things where we're like, we got to watch it. But so I think what that did to us, though, is that there was another spider option in the feature films category Arbor that we did not watch. Something? Yeah, the Arbors, I think, because we had already watched a spider movie. So we were like, yeah, we don't.
And it was also a foreign film, I
think
feel
so,
like.
Yeah. That was another thing that we had to do. Like, we had to balance out. If we were going to watch a short program that was going to be mostly non-English speaking, then we tried to balance that out with a feature film that was English speaking, or vice versa, because, you know,
it's a lot of
you're
brain
just
power.
3 hours in an evening, and both of us have things that we do need to do around the house or whatever, so it's nice to be able to half pay attention to the English speaking stuff.
Multitask.
Yeah, trying to multitask, just because there was so much that we're just trying to get through it, you know. So that was the kind of thing. It was like, if it was longer, I think maybe like I would enjoy it being longer, just because you'd have more time to watch stuff. But we did what we could.
Yeah, I feel like we did pretty well. I will say that Abyssal Spider is definitely like on par with the type of movies that you see on the Sci-Fi Channel, like Sharknado.
Oh yeah.
Or Jaws, Shark versus Octopus, or like those
but
types
those
of things.
movies know they're terrible, and I think are going for a certain level of camp, whereas I don't know that we could say that about this film.
No. And I was honestly like super pumped, because in my film viewing experience, like Taiwanese and like Japanese and Korean horror films are typically like pretty spooky, and
yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, so I was going into it with that expectation, and not what we got, but that's all right.
Still, hey, that's what it's all about.
Still a ride. And then let's do the other feature-length films that we watched.
Okay.
Let's see. The Stairs.
Okay, The Stairs. Oh boy, that was one I wanted to watch.
That one was a trip.
I was like, I want to, because there were ones that we were like, we want to watch those,
and The Stairs
and there
was
were
definitely
ones where we were like, if we have time, we'll watch those. And then there was other ones where we're like, yeah, we really don't care. Basic thought process for anybody. But The Stairs, because I have read about and seen spooky stories, you know, real, you can't see the bunny ears right now, but real life example stories of people getting lost in the woods, and a search party goes after them, and they see these stairs appear out of nowhere, and the, you know, park rangers or whoever's with them who looks for people in these woods all the time is like, if you see stairs, don't go up them, because it's like, whoa! You know, so I had heard about this kind of thing before, so I was like, yes, let's get it, and it did not disappoint, let me tell you.
It was, I felt like that's what it would have been like to have a really bad like acid trip or something. Because that movie, it was pretty crazy.
That was the one with the guy that was just like your typical, like, really loud.
What was his name?
Bro. Oh my god.
Was it Greg?
No, Joe?
Or like Brad?
Brad.
But he pulls up in like a Bronco, and he's like, what's up?
Fuckers.
Let's go camping.
Yeah, who wants to fuck?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what he pulls up with his window down. Who wants to fuck? Oh my god. But yeah, you have your like, there were three ladies.
Two ladies, 3 dudes.
Yeah, and you have your like normal guy, right? Your stereotypical normal guy who is like prepared and ready to camp. Then you have your anxiety-riddled man who
brings a bunch of cans in his backpack.
Overpacks. And then you have your like Chad of the group.
Was his name Chad?
It was, I don't know, it was like your typical bro name. I do not remember.
But yeah, I'm trying to find it now, but it's being difficult.
But they decided to go on a hike.
Which, no, it was like a full camp, so they were going like a bunch of miles. There was a lot of miles that they were going. Like, that we were like, we would never hike that far.
Yeah, because, well, they were like, we gotta make it 30 miles in a day or some shit. And I was like, what? And none of them were like in good, didn't seem to be in great shape. Yeah. So it was like, how you gonna walk 30 miles in one day? And you're starting like midday. It's gonna get dark. It's not a good plan. Turn around now. And then
they encounter a spooky witch hut, which everyone always knows you do not futz with that.
Unless you're in a movie, and
then you do futz with it.
You go in and you say hello.
And things start happening. They do encounter the stairs. And then
they encounter like a man and a woman.
There's a whole scene where the guy's done shot himself, but it's like a whole, is it a real thing happening? Yeah. Like, it's all like,
are
very
they tripping?
Oh yeah, there's a whole thing going on.
There are slug babies.
The most disgusting, like, white little maggoty, and not when I say little, the size of small babies. Yeah, like, like those fake, the 80s like toys. Yeah. But it was just, and they were so gross.
Super nasty.
And then the next thing, of course, it's dark and things start happening, and Yeah, eventually you find out that these stairs have been appearing, and these people, they're like some sort of interdimensional portal.
Creatures are like dragging them into
so they can like, I can't remember, were they eating them or something? I don't know. But
no, because there's penetration. They have sex. But,
I forgot that.
Because it's like a gross, like...
No, they eat their guts.
After
they eat
their
bang.
Guts
and stuff.
Yeah. Because Katie's husband in the background just went, maggot people.
Yeah, he sat through that one. The grub daddies is what there's a little boy that they end up finding who, there's a whole
been
story.
Lost for like 30 years or something.
I think it's 20. Well, because the main character was a little boy next
they went
with
to
him.
School together. Yeah.
So, there's a whole thing where the little boy comes out and
his mom is old.
Yeah, everybody's old, but he comes out still a little boy, and the police are like, son, did you kill all these... Not the boy, but the main character. Did you kill all these people? And he's, do you not see this child who's been missing for 20 years? Like, there's something more going on here. Do you mind?
Forget about this kid who looks exactly the same as he did 20 years ago. Did you kill these people?
And then the old guy that took all the mushrooms or something. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he found their mushrooms and took them, ran off with them.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that one was
pretty good.
That one was comical. What did I say about that one? Not bad at all. Oh, this one, Warner Brother in credits, so it had some money, which you could tell. Mm-hmm. Like, in juxtaposition to some of the other films, like what the production was like.
Oh, River Snurfs.
Oh my gosh.
We are, as always, joined by podcast dog River.
Podcast River.
She's becoming a fixed guest.
And then, I just wrote Grub Daddies, real big, 3.5 stars. So we enjoyed that one, but
3.5.
We were like, it could have been better. We got some laughs out of it, and some definite like, oh, look at that, and then
definitely got a lot of chuckles out of that one for sure. I would recommend people watch it.
Oh yes,
yeah,
at least once in your life. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
If you like that kind of campy, stupid, semi-serious horrorness, then yeah.
If you're like me and you're just getting started with podcasting, it can be scary and overwhelming. That's why Anchor is such a great choice. It's one of the easiest ways to make a podcast, and best of all, it's free. It also has great creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Another great feature of Anchor is that they'll distribute your podcast for you. Your listeners will be able to access your podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many others. You can also make money from your podcast using Anchor, and that's with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and it's easy to use. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Staying on the campy, let's head on over to Australia.
Ooh.
And An Ideal Host.
One of our faves.
It's probably in the top 3 for me of the whole film festival, because it was so good. And I'm a little weird about my comedies. Like, Katie knows.
You did not want to watch it, like, at all.
I did not want to watch it because I was like, it's a comedy.
Like,
it's going to be terrible. But it was not. It was really good. So good. What's your review?
The review is so much better than we thought it'd be. 5 stars.
Didn't fall asleep. 5 stars.
So if that tells you anything. But yeah, so I think on that one, they actually gave you like some of the ones had like behind the scenes little clips and things that you could watch with them, but that was hard to do with the way the app was set up through Roku and stuff. So the only time we really got to see stuff like that was if it was attached to the film. So when we selected the film to play, if it played something like that, we were just like, okay, cool. But yeah, so this one actually had the director pop up and like, hey, y'all. He didn't say y'all, obviously, mate. But, so he popped on there and gave you a little quick bit about it. And it started, and we were like, this couple is neurotic and weird. And then you start getting the other characters introduced. And what was so funny to us is that one of the characters that in the beginning we were like, who is this? Like, what character
the tender date?
Yeah, is this person? He ended up being like our favorite character by the end. It was so it was so unexpectedly funny sometimes, and then
so good.
Would just come out of nowhere with how gruesome it could be, and we were just like, yes, like it was
especially
really
towards
great.
the end. There were some moments where it was like shocking how grotesque it was.
Oh yeah,
but it was so well done and like so good. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite characters was one moment, you guys, we're taking a picture with the dog. We'll put that on social media.
Oh yeah,
so you can see what we're dealing with here. She's just sprawled in between our notepads as we record on my floor. But there's a couple, and they're hosting their first kind of get together. They just bought like a farm,
like a big farm that they have no idea how to deal with.
These are our cows.
What do? We don't know. Okay.
They moo. They're cows. And they invite their friends, and of course there's always like a
party
couple,
crasher.
Yeah. So you have
a friend who gets too intoxicated sometimes that they don't want there,
and
but shows up
not
anyway.
the best of friends anymore. And then you have a random guy who is on a Tinder date.
Yeah, who brought him. He stayed the night with him, and he brought him. So
he was my favorite character. I loved him.
Great.
He was so good.
He was really great.
And yeah, the party. She's very like anal about like how she wants her party to go, and it has to be perfect. And they like rehearsed their engagement speeches.
Oh my gosh.
So it would be like they would pretend like they were surprised, but not really.
Cringe.
And
it was supposed to do. I think like he intended for you to feel a certain way at certain times, and I feel like we did.
Yeah.
Because later when you really get toward the end of the film, you're like, whoa, he took me on a journey.
Yeah. And like the double meaning of the title.
Oh yeah.
It's really well done.
As I think one of the descriptions somewhere is like the perfect amount of camp. Like it really was. So it was really good. Definitely worth watching. Would recommend.
Oh yeah.
Would recommend.
10 for 10. Would watch again.
5 stars.
5 stars. Better than we thought it would be. 5 stars. Killing this review game. All right, what's next? What should we do next?
We did. So the other 2 feature films we watched were Till Freddy and A Ghost Waits.
Those were both full-length films?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So Till Freddy is one that Katie has a lot of problems with because it's Norwegian.
It's Norwegian. Well, we tend to like Norwegian films.
We do.
Because they get real weird sometimes.
But unfortunately,
the title bothered
Till
the crap
Freddy.
Yeah, because the translation, when you're watching the film and it translates it for you, it says to Freddy, because there's a guy, Freddy, who finds a box and it has all this stuff in there, and it has these cards, these, just like greeting cards, but they're like, hey, on this weekend when you go on this trip with your friends for your last hoorah at the end of university, one of them's going to try and kill you.
Yeah.
And you can either choose to go that on your own, or you can keep reading these because they had times on the envelopes and dates. So he had to read them exactly then.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows the friend he's with when he finds it. They smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
But
it's another one of those where you're like, are they all tripping?
Or
is this actually happening? Like,
how drunk are they?
Is this a shared hallucination? What's going on?
But yeah, so like at some point, the movie itself translates the Norwegian into To Freddy. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if the Till Freddy is just a weird semi-half translation, or if like it just the words didn't cross over correctly when they started doing the English.
I think Till is 2.
That's what I think we figured that out maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's what I do know. That bothered the shit out of me.
Yeah. Got a hard time being okay with that Till and 2.
It was just like, because once I saw it, because I was like, Till Freddy, what?
Yeah.
Like it means something like completely different here. So like it was really kind of weird, and then once I saw that translation in the film, I was like,
the fuck?
Why does it not match? What is this?
This was another
Tammy
one.
and Tanny.
Tammy and Tanny. Mm-hmm. Close enough. This was another one where we had a group of people going camping, and we were both like, where are their tents? They literally took
No
camping gear with them at all. They took
Yeah.
booze
Yeah.
and drugs, and that was like it. And
They did cook something on a fire.
They were just
cards. They played
sleeping.
cards a lot.
They were just sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
Without any type of coverage.
I mean, you know, not even, and it wasn't one of those we brought things to sleep in and chose not to. No.
They didn't bring
bring anything.
Is that how they camp in
I don't know, man.
their places?
You know, hey, I don't know. The review for that one was decent. Bros camping in the wood. Never know where the box comes from. 3 stars. I mean, that was one of the things that got me too, because I was like, finally at the end you're gonna find out where the box comes from, because people die, like people
shit goes down.
Yeah, like shit gets real serious real fast, and so you really think that you're gonna find out where the box comes from, and you do not.
You don't. I actually really liked this one because I enjoyed the suspicion just like turning everyone against
that
each
paranoia
other.
thing.
Yeah,
you really like that? Yeah,
I did. I enjoyed it.
The psychological.
Yeah, because again, you never know. Like, was someone actually going to like try to kill him?
Yeah.
Or is it like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah.
Like, he
most
made
definitely.
all of it
Most
happen.
definitely. Yeah. Well, because one of the things says you're gonna walk over to them and show them the gun, and he's gonna try and take it from you, and you're gonna have to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, you walked over there with a gun.
Yeah.
Duh.
They are gonna try to take it from you because you already like punched 5 people.
Yeah,
in
you've
the
already
face.
like beaten a dude half to death. Like, what is going on? Like, this poor guy.
Yeah, it was a good psychological like
It was
thriller.
a rough ride for
It was
him.
good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Like I said, 3 stars. Wasn't the worst.
Yeah. Would I watch it over Abyssal Spider? Yes.
Yeah, just because, like I said, discombobulation. Man.
Yeah.
That was hardcore on my brain.
And then the last one that we watched 6 feature-length films, I think.
That's 5.
What? Did I count wrong?
I think you're counting a short.
Oh, I did. Oh, yep, you're right.
Because we talked about some shorts.
5. Ghost Waits, which was
another
one
you didn't want to
I didn't want to watch.
And you came in, you didn't start it off with me, I don't think. I think I was watching it and you came in midway, maybe a little earlier than that.
No, definitely pretty close to the beginning.
Yeah.
I saw her scare off the first family.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I think what it was I don't think you were in the mood to watch any that evening, and I was just like,
you were like, we have to.
I have to. Like, something, we got to watch something.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And so I was like, I will be watching this. You can join me. But it was all in black and white. The tunes on that one were good. That was one of my notes that I had.
Was it all in black and white? Oh my God, it was, wasn't it?
It was a choice, and it was a good one.
Wow, you're right. I completely forgot that it was in black and white.
I think every now and then you had something that popped up in color.
Yeah, or I kept waiting for it to be in color.
I think that was a vague recollection I had. But yeah, it was in black and white.
Yeah.
Because I think it made it easy for her to look very spectral.
Yeah.
If she's in black and white. But yeah, so it was cool.
It was good. It was cute.
It was cute. Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like, oh, let's go. And then at the end when we figured it out right before he did it, we were just like,
oh my God.
Yes. So yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Skip for about 15 seconds. The review is Lady Ghost and Guy fall in love and he kills himself. Good tunes, 3 stars.
Yeah. Oh, because then they can be together forever.
Yep, scaring people out the house. So
yeah. It was a really good one.
It was sad though. It was really sad because it was all about how lonely this guy really figures out that he is.
Yeah, because no one will help him.
It was really sad. And then that's one of the reasons why she doesn't scare him when she's trying to scare him, is just because he's disassociated so much from life a little bit, but he doesn't realize that he's done it. And then once he realizes it, and then she's like getting feelings back.
Yeah.
Like you realize she's really lonely, and her upper management has been lying to her, which was hilarious. And then he's, and he's like, I love this ghost lady. And it was just like, oh, that's sweet. And then you're like, oh, what?
Yeah. And then he kills himself.
And then he kills
like,
himself.
Oh my God. But then you're like, they're together forever.
Yeah, because there's just one moment where you think, where he says like something like, I choose you or something like that. And then he walks out the door and you're like,
where's this bitch going?
What? I thought, what? And she's just smiling though. And you're like, what? And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then he does. And you're like, wow, okay. They took it there.
Yeah. It was, because he's, the character, he's always going out of his way to help others and like doing all this stuff for others.
And it's just never reciprocated.
Yeah, and he's like calling his friends. He's like, hey, can I like stay at your place? Can whatever? And everyone keeps shutting him down, but they're like, no, you can't stay here, but when you have time, can you come fix my sink?
Yeah.
Or like
just being turds in general.
Yeah.
Hello, River. What?
Oh, podcast pup.
What's wrong with you?
But that was
that's what it is.
It's time for their evening.
It's getting close.
Foods.
She's letting me know.
That means we gotta go through the rest of these pretty quick.
So yeah, that was the feature films.
And some of the shorts that we really, well, I'll say I really enjoyed. I think you did as well. The Recycling Man.
Oh man, probably one of my favorites.
It was really good.
like way up there.
Did not go full River snarf right in the microphone. The Recycling Man did not. It took a turn that I was not expecting.
Yeah. It was yeah. You were like, I think I know what's going on,
and you don't.
And you didn't know what was going on. And if you did, good for you, but I didn't. So it was fun for me because my brain was like, what?
And they did a really
they had good tunes too.
Yeah, I added several of their songs to my phone.
And that was one of, I think, either one of the award-winning ones, or that one got a little bit of recognition.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was what we tried to do, was make sure that we watched the We the Jury category, so the one that the festival folks had voted on and had nominated for various awards and things like that.
Yeah, really liked The Recycling Man. And then I personally absolutely loved The Last Men. That was the only movie that made me like almost cry, because it was just a very sad,
another like morbid, how lonely can you be
zombie movie.
Yeah, like it was really
but like
sad.
Not your typical zombie movie. It reminded me a little bit of Cargo, which is another zombie movie that I would highly recommend.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Love me a zombie movie. I'm reading a zombie book right now. Shit, can't get enough of these
zombies.
But it literally follows two guys around. One is a human and one is a zombie.
Yeah, they end up meeting each other when they're both still human, and the other guy gets turned into a zombie like right in front of the guy. So it's Last Men because it's just literally the last guy on Earth, and the zombie that's been chasing him for 3 years or something. Yeah. He's been literally running cross country
since the apocalypse,
and has not seen another soul other than this guy in 3 years. And
I think the zombie's name was Bernard.
Yeah, I think so. Bernard. But you know, like at some point he's not trying to get away from him. He like, it shows him like doing all this stuff and kind of going in roundabout ways so that he doesn't lose him. And then finally his little zombie body just can't keep up any longer.
And then he's like, what am I going to do without you?
Yeah.
And they just sit there on the beach together, and our little zombie guy dies and our runner is just sitting there. And that was another one. The music, there's a song in there that I added.
Is that another French one?
I do believe so. Yes, I do think it was French.
Yeah,
because who else would name a zombie Bernard?
True.
But I'll share like some of the music recs as well on social media, because the song that they play in The Last Men is just like heart wrenching. Like it is. Oh my god! Every time I've listened to it, and I'm like, when I want to get in my feels, I listen to that song, because it'll get you. So some of the other shorts we enjoyed.
Oh, the Bureau. Yeah,
another
that one
French
was like,
one.
what has happened? That was another one that was like not fantastical, but it was like, right. What is happening?
Yeah, but essentially a man has to like give up one of his children because he and his wife no longer meet the societal requirements to have two children.
Yeah,
even though they already have two children.
As calculated by an AI that the governments have supposedly given reign over human society to make sure we don't like completely collapse. And then you find out that that's all not bullshit. What's actually happening. Who'd have thunk it?
It was a good one. It was definitely like a play on government. Notre Macabre.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one?
Yeah, that was.
I liked this one.
That was the one from Brazil.
Portugal.
Oh man.
No, I do think it's Brazil.
Yeah, I think it was a Brazilian one, and it was
full
one
fucking 80 by
yeah,
like 80s to the max.
It was one that when it came on, like we had not had. It was not something that we watched like on purpose. It was just in the program, and we were like, okay, cool, and it cycled through. And it was one of those ones where it starts off and you're kind of just like, yeah, right, whatever is happening, and then it kind of got going. I was like, I don't really care for this too much. And then it just went full
musical
crazy. Like there's a musical number at some point and just wild. And so then I had to write it down.
Like, and it was like super gory.
Oh, wild.
I was in it. Gory. I was in it for the 80s musical though.
That was hilarious.
Oh, that gave
like it just I literally shook my head and was like, what just happened?
And I was like, yes, more of that, please.
So that one was funny. I really liked The Relic. Which is funny because I felt like, so our complaint about that we just had about the story, the animated film with the zombies and the little dude, you know, we said like that one felt like it was just this tiny piece of this larger thing, and it really just kind of, you were like kind of like, what's going on? The Relic did the same thing, where like as soon as it started, you're like, did it start 5 minutes ago? You were in it, and it was like the perfect point to jump in, that you really just kind of were like, you had no choice. You were either in it or you were not watching it at all, because as soon as it started, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, full speed from the get-go. Like,
and I was all about it because we are archaeologists. Yeah, so we were all about
that was one where I was like, I want to see a full-length film now though. Yeah, like I want to know what the story is.
Also, one you could tell that it had a little bit of money backing it up, because it had some...
It didn't have shitty CGI snow.
Yeah, it was fairly decent on the visuals there, but that one, it was wild. And then the other one, the long form ones, I kind of liked the long form stuff. Lodium was one out of that category that I liked, and that was the one where this gal, her father had sent her away from home when she was real young, and he ends up dying, and she decides to go back and deal with the farm and stuff. Another non-English speaking film, which I can't remember what it was, but it ended up, she thought her mother had run away and left her, and then all this stuff goes on, and you find out that her mother did not leave. She'd been at the farm the whole time.
Did I watch that one?
I think I did. I think you did.
Yeah, I'm like, I remember this farm.
But I think it was at the end of her run, and so it was like...
I clocked out.
Like, I'm done.
I remember the farm, that you said a farm, and I was like, she's by a tractor and a field. Okay, yeah, I remember.
But yeah, so that one was like, you kind of saw, it wasn't like it was a surprise. Once they threw in certain little nuggets, you're like, oh, I kind of see where this is going. So it wasn't like, they got you. But the way that they did certain things, I thought was really cool. And so it was still like, whoa, like it was still real spooky. I think that's the one that I actually recounted almost verbatim to a friend of ours, Emily from Tea Time. And she was literally in the car with me going, please stop telling me, I got goosebumps. She really hates scary stories. So, I was like, dude, the only one that scared me, that even gave me like the heebie-jeebies, was this one. And so I like told her about it, and she was just like, no.
I wish I could remember it fully.
Oh, yeah. No, it was pretty good. I enjoyed that one.
I'm going to take your word for it and agree that it was great.
Yeah. But there was one that I did kind of like that you didn't like. Exit.
Oh yeah, the Russian
one about the alternate dimension forever closet.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
See, I like that. But what's funny is you didn't like that one because you said it didn't have an ending.
Yeah.
But that's what I liked about it. But then when we didn't find out about the box, you liked that about that other movie, and I didn't.
I did. I think it was because
it's crazy times around
the gore
here.
factor.
We don't know what we're talking
until Freddy.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big fan of. I love that type of shit, and it was more of a psychological.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just like
this is definitely just sci-fi weirdness.
Yeah, like.
Where's
Narnia?
Freddy was a full movie, whereas this one didn't have you didn't have as much of an opportunity to build things up, but it got there. It got where it needed to go. I felt like because some of those long form ones, it was like, did you have to do long form though? This could have been a short.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I do. I agree.
But yeah, so then we did not get a chance. I didn't get a chance to look at some that I really wanted to, which was probably the international short program category. We had seen some in the other categories. You had some crossover.
Yeah.
Especially like We the Jury. They pulled the best ones out and taught, specifically. So you did see those in other category programs too.
Yeah.
But you got to watch, I think, the American
I don't know
one.
anymore.
But
the North American
we couldn't figure
shorts.
it out. Yeah.
But there was one that I watched that I know you had wanted to watch, which was Killjoy. And I really enjoyed that one because it was another kind of like psychological thriller where you have this woman who, it starts off with you're thinking she's filed a restraining order against her boyfriend.
Yeah, I did want to watch that.
Her ex-boyfriend. And then her friends want to throw her this party and you think she goes to this party and shit happens and it turns out she was the one with the restraining order against her, not the other way around, and she may or may not be at a party, and she may or may not be in her own home.
Killing everybody. Oh, like that one holiday film, where the Santa, gosh, what was the name of that? I don't remember, but we'll discuss that one on a different podcast. No, we've watched, there's a holiday horror film that is very much like that, where you go through the whole thing, and it's really been the guy who thinks he's been saving the day the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Hilarity.
And then The Claw, that was one that I watched. I didn't necessarily want to watch it.
It was another one of those, it's playing now, so I guess I'll watch.
And it took a turn. It's a band in Seattle, and the lead guitarist and singer has like this thing on her hand. And at first I thought it was like, oh, what is that movie where like they turn into zombies, but it's like a sexually contracted like zombie virus. I thought it was going to be something like that.
You get it from fisting?
Why
is it on your hand?
Because it like gets in your blood system. The lights are flickering. We may have ghosts.
What is happening? Do not start shivering.
But it gets in your blood system and then it like pops up everywhere. Systemic. But she's got this weird thing growing, and they don't show you what's happening to her hand. You just know that something is wrong, and she's like freaking out about it. And then she comes out when the band's getting ready to play, and she has this giant fucking lobster claw for her hand. Like, massive lobster claw for her hand. And so she just comes out and she goes, I have a claw for her hand.
And people are like, yeah!
Yeah, and you think people are going to be like, the fuck? But they're like, right on! And so she gets out there.
So punk!
She plays the guitar with her claw. Very Seattle.
Let's get cracking!
Very Pacific Northwest. So...
hilarious.
I watched it.
Yeah.
It's a thing I did.
I wanted to watch this one, and I can't figure out which one it is. We even tried to figure it out. But the trailer and I think it was something about Eve. I think that was the one, but it's hard for me to tell without really digging through a bunch of them to make sure. But yeah, so it had some stuff going on where it just really, like, there was a hand and it was black and it was like it belonged. It showed this girl and there's just this black hand of this creature that she encounters, and I was just like, I want to watch that. I don't know why it drew me to it though. Didn't get to watch it.
Good cover art, man. It'll get you.
It got me.
It'll get you.
That abyssal spider got us too.
Oh shit. Yeah, man.
Funny. So yeah, that was our Nevermore journey.
Yeah, I feel like we did really well. We watched a lot. We watched a lot. But thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm. We definitely recommend. Oh, we did see a thing. We figured we'd share with you guys. I was researching on the Facebook, and Allie's like, what you got written down on there? I was researching on Facebook just before recording, and so we had on there the Nevermore Festival Facebook page. They have a movie called Unearth that they said they wanted to show, and then it ended up getting distributed, and so they could not have it in the festival, but that it is actually playing virtually right now through, I think, May the 6th or something like that. You should go check it out. It looks crazy. Classic tale of two dueling agricultural families in the middle of the Midwest, and there's a gas pipeline and some sort of evil thing coming up from the earth. So hey, it looks like a good time. I think we're gonna check that out.
I totally forgot that you had mentioned that prior to recording.
Although I don't know if it'll still be out when people will listen to this.
It's coming out in 2 days.
All right, then it should be.
Editing it tomorrow, putting it out on Wednesday.
There you go. You're on top of things.
You know me. Last minute.
But yeah, so you should definitely, if you're interested in spooky films and things like that, you should definitely keep an eye out for Nevermore 2022.
Yes.
And see how it goes. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was really fun.
And we're going to be doing more fun stuff.
We are. I was going to say, if you have enjoyed listening to us talk about movies, especially Katie's one-sentence reviews,
right?
We will be launching our podcast, What You
Streamin',
this summer. So we're going to be chatting about movies and talking about
lots of things.
Not only movies, it'll be TV shows, music concerts, all kinds of stuff.
All the things we've been shoving into our brain to escape reality this year.
Exactly. So if you're looking to listen to some unsolicited opinions about movies and things, definitely join us. And we have some really cool special guests on board for our episodes. So
maybe one of the folks we talked about today.
Yeah, maybe some of these Nevermore videos.
Hey.
You never know.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. So keep an eye out for news about our new podcast. So hopefully it'll be launching in June. And yeah, thanks for being on the podcast again, Katie.
Thanks for having me, Allie. I enjoy sitting on the floor of your bedroom.
I mean, it could be better.
We do what we do.
It could be better. And for the listeners, remember to get out there, try something new, and have some fucking fun. Bye.
Bye, y'all.